Hello guys, Josh from 2000 here, and today, for this episode of Comic Book Carnage, we are going to be talking about the new Warframe comics that have come out over the past couple of months. I've chosen to use some Warframe gameplay in the background here. This is just a relic mission with me doing an interception to try and get some more Prime stuff. Don't worry about it, it's nothing particularly special. I'd got some new gear at the time, road testing it. So, anyway, now we've got that out of the way, on to the comics. Well, you're probably asking, how are they? Well, let me tell you this. The art is honestly some of my favourite comic book art I've seen in a long time. It looks really cool. Well, cool's not the right word. It's stylistically mute. Quite a lot of the panels are pretty dark, but it's done in a way where it's stylistic, and you can kind of understand why they've chosen to do that. Now, as for the storyline, it's still unfolding. The next issue comes out in May, I believe, of this year. Syndicate. Goddamn. This is one of the systems that really annoys me about Warframe. Anyway, never mind. Back onto the comics. The first issue opens with Excalibur kind of walking through this burning village, and it looks very pretty. And he finds this woman on her own. She's blind, and she can't see anything, but she's narrating it through her thoughts. And basically Excalibur kind of helps her up, and she kind of explains, asks him a few questions, and she's kind of thinking in her head, I wish I had more time to ask him these things, and she's asking stuff like, do you even speak, and that, and it's really cool. And then Vor shows up with a small army of Grineer, and Excalibur just walks out with nothing but a shakana on his back, takes it off his back, and stares down this entire army, which leads to this really awesome kind of samurai kind of feel. It's like the old samurai ninja type movies, and honestly, that's all I can describe it as. And my only real complaint about the issues is that I wish they'd have picked a bit more of an intimidating villain than Vor, because pretty much anyone who's played Warframe will tell you Vor's nothing. He's literally the biggest pushover in the game. I mean, he's the first boss you ever face in the game, for God's sake. So I think that tells you pretty much everything. He's not gonna be a tough guy. And they kind of show that in his character. He's very much he's like, oh yes, for the glory of the queens. I don't know why I kind of did that in a shitty Russian accent, but whatever. He kind of does that, but secretly in his head he's like, shit, we might have to think about retreating here, and possibly coming up with a contingency plan, because I don't think this is going to work. I really enjoyed these, because the first issue opens up with Excalibur just taking on this army, and he gets captured at the end of it, and Lotus calls on Mag. Second issue, Mag shows up, kicks the crap out of the last of the Grineer, and they retreat. Then they find out there's something called an Orking Gate, which I'm not entirely sure if is in-game or not. I could be... You'll have to forgive me if I don't know that. If that's in-game, apologies. It must be something I haven't come across yet. But, anyway. We find out about this Orking Gate, and there's this kind of scavenger type character that's helping them. And, the blind woman, and Mag go to this gate. And basically they decide to... Lotus tells them, you've got to go through that gate. Excalibur has become a secondary concern now. You've got to go through that gate. You've got to find out what it is and stop Vor from getting it. Because the Grineer seem incredibly interested in this gate. And they seem to be able to be willing to risk quite a lot to get it. And they decide to go through, But it turns out that that's actually what Vor wanted. And he was planning to wait on them to go in after them and like get what he wants from there. But basically they go through and they encounter infested and they all start fighting the infested. But the blind girl doesn't know what's happening and she's kind of frightened and she's a bit like, well, I can smell decay, I can tell my allies are afraid because of the way they sound, the way they're behaving, and I can hear gunfire. Next thing you know, the guy has his gun knocked out of his hand and she grabs it and she chucks it to him just as one of the infested chargers dive on her. And this moment's actually really sad because her last thought is, at least I didn't die a burden. And it's a bit like, you kind of feel bad for her because it's like, God damn it, Mag, like, you know, couldn't you have tried to save her? I mean, like, this is the last person from that village, and like, Excalibur fought tooth and nail to keep her. Hello? Excalibur fought tooth and nail to keep her safe, and it's just like, well, now him getting captured is a moot point because the only person he was fighting to protect is now dead. Anyway, I won't spoil what happens at the end of issue 5, but honestly guys, whether you're a fan of the game Warframe or not, go out and buy these comics because they are amazingly well drawn and it captures the personality of each of the Warframes perfectly. Excalibur is a noble swordsman, Mag's kind of like a power-based tank that just charges through everything. I saw Valkyr on the cover arts for one of the upcoming issues, so hopefully we get to see my second favourite Warframe show up in the game as well. And Excalibur is also my favourite Warframe, so if that happens we will have seen both of my favourite Warframes in this series, which I will be incredibly happy with because I actually really enjoy the art style. And honestly guys, Warframe devs, if you're listening to this, commission more comics because honestly guys, your concept makes an awesome action comic, and I'm not gonna lie, if you'd have told me that Warframe was a game based on a comic and I didn't know anything about the game, I would believe you because the comic is that well done, you'd literally believe it was the source material and the game wasn't. But honestly guys, it's well worth the price. I'd recommend you go out and get it. You will not regret your decision. That's pretty much it for this review. Next video I will either be uploading the War Within gameplay, more War Within, or I will be uploading a review of James Bond the Body, issues 1 to 4. With the Thrawn issues, with the last Thrawn issue, I'm probably going to wait until the next one comes out, do it as a batch. But honestly guys, this is a really good series, go out and support it. And also, fun fact, if you are new to Warframe and you buy this comic, you get a code for a free sword. It's kind of useless to me because I already have that sword, so it's not very helpful for me. But if you guys don't have that sword, you know, pick up the comic, get yourself a code, get yourself a free sword, get yourself enjoying some Warframe. Because honestly guys, I cannot praise the comic or the game high enough, and the general morality of the general morality and the business practice of the company that produced Warframe is just, honestly, it's refreshing to have a company that actually gives a shit about morals for a change. Because they literally took a slot machine system out that they realized they'd created, and they literally took it out. And I'm pretty sure we all know a company like I'm pretty sure we all know a company like EA would have left it in there. So I think it's kind of refreshing to see that, and honestly, both the game and the comics are worth supporting. They're both really enjoyable, so that's kind of my 2 cents on the Warframe comics. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.